Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. How's everyone doing today? In this video, which I'm putting out before the last two of the power level update missions. Sorry, I haven't managed to finish taking care of those, but we have here the EZA details for the first batch of this celebration. The Gohan and Piccolo are coming around the 14th, if I'm not mistaken. So we have here Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. So let's do the Gamma 1 first and see what the details are here. I have not actually looked at these before, so this is going to be a complete and utter surprise. Okay, so we have movie heroes or artificial life forms, 3 key, 170% to stats, plus an additional 1 key at 30% to stats for characters who also belong to the accelerated battle or worthy rivals category. Okay, so now we have the passive 150% attack and guards all attacks for 6 turns. Right off the bat. Then 250% attack defense, 40% damage reduction, a guaranteed additional super attack. All allies gain 1 key and 40% defense, 30% attack and defense, and chance to perform your critical hit of 20%, and chance of evading enemies' attack 10% for allies whose names include Gamma 2. Which at this point is 3 summonable ones. When attacking with 12 or more key, 100% attack. For every attack received, 100% attack and defense up to 200, so that's 2 attacks, and an additional 10% damage reduction up to 20%. Okay, that is interesting. And after receiving 4 attacks in battle, gain 70% chance to crit, and foresees enemy super attack for 2 turns on the character's next attacking turn. That happens once only. And then when receiving an unarmed super attack, great chance of nullifying it and countering with tremendous power. And nullifies it and then counters with tremendous power, guaranteed, starting from the 5th turn from the character's entry turn. Okay. That is actually good. My apologies, I did not have that on before. Let's just make a quick comparison to the 2 here. Give me one moment. Alright. So we have for the Gamma 1 goes from 50% to 150% in 4 turns to 6 turns, and 150 to 250, and giving all allies an additional 10% defense. When attacking with 12 or more key did not change. It gets entirely more for the Gamma 2 part. And then for every attack received was up to 100, but it was at 20% increments, and the damage reduction went from 10% to 50%. Now he has already 40% base, and that can go up to another 20%, interestingly enough. Then the super attack here turns into greatly raising attack and defense, and causes immense damage to the enemy and greatly lowers attack. And that is up from a 30% attack and defense raise, and no additional part to the passive. Okay, so switching over to the Gamma 2 side. Gamma 2, just like the Gamma 1, has just an additional 1 key to the second part of the leader skill. The first thing I want to do is just look at the super attack, because that's practically the insignificant part. Gamma 2 greatly lowers attack, and the Gamma 1 greatly lowers defense. And onto the passive. So just like with the Gamma 1, a couple of these things are just the same kind of upgrade. So 150% instead of 50%, and 6 turns instead of 4 turns. The 2 additional attacks went from a medium chance of becoming a super attack to now being a great chance, so 30 to 70. Okay. Then we have here the basic effects. So 150 up to 250%. And damage reduction rate of 40%. Then a high chance of evading the enemy's attack, which he didn't have before as well. And instead of 2 key and 30% attack for all allies, it's now 40% attack. And then entirely extra 30% attack and defense and 10% damage reduction for allies whose name includes Gamma 1. So if you pair this with the STR Gamma, he's now going to have 70% damage reduction. Then when attacking with 12 or more ki, that's the same, 100% attack. And the same like Gamma with this point, it's 50% instead of 100%, up to 200%, so 4 attacks. And it used to be, well, for EZA is 20% attack and defense up to 100%, so that gets doubled. And then chance of performing your critical hit is, instead of 10% up to 50%, now it's going to be 20% up to 80%. So that entire part of the passive is going to be available after 4 times, and he could do that turn 1 with max additional. You have those 2 additional attacks, so you're pretty much guaranteed. Then after performing 4 attacks in battle, you have a guaranteed additional super attack. And that used to be a 70% chance of becoming a super attack, and only after 5 attacks. And then for 1 turn only, foresees enemy super attacks for 2 turns from the character's next attacking turn. So I think that's the same as the Gamma. Yeah, so that's the same as the Gamma 1. Okay. And then when receiving a Ki Blast super attack, it's the same as the high chance of nullifying it, and then it becomes a guaranteed nullification. Whereas the Gamma 1 has the 70% chance. This is still staying at 50% chance until the 5th turn from the character's entry turn. All in all, these are very, very solid upgrades. And the more I look at it, the more I feel that they are roughly sitting at an 8 if we were talking about a scale of 10 with regards to their kits at this point. Just looking at the amount of stats, for longer events this is not going to be good per se, but for shorter events this will be pretty good. Yeah. 50% chance to dodge on the Gamma 2 is unfortunately just not high enough to be reliable. And of course, that means we're trying to force them to then go and be in slot 2 and hope that they dodge and hope that they can tank. And looking at the Gamma 1, I mean, he's giving extra critical hits and an extra 10% chance to evade. Okay, so that goes up to 60% chance to evade. A little bit better. But considering how much I was relying on Pan's 60% chance to evade, trying to do the Seriously Serious All-Out Battle Stage 9 Movie Heroes mission, I wouldn't count on it. Honestly, I wouldn't count on it. So yeah, Gamma 2 is probably going to be a slot 2 unit, and Gamma 1 is probably going to be a slot 1 unit. Gamma 1 paired up with this Gamma 2 will end up with 70% damage reduction straight off the bat. And coupled with that being 200% plus 250, supporting for 40% defense. I mean, yeah, like I say, very solid EZAs. I wouldn't consider these to be the best of the best, considering that they're missing a little bit. I would say if you just gave them another 150% defense in the kit for both, and they would be fine. But definitely for shorter events, I would be curious to see what they can do in intensifying fights in later stages. Something like that with 4 million super attacks, see what happens there. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think of these EZAs? Do you think they pass the bar, or do they fall a little bit short of the mark? Thank you all so much for coming to watch the video, folks. I hope you all enjoyed. If you are new here, if you haven't already done so, please do consider subscribing. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Goshen signing off.